So I wanted to take a minute to show another example of something that I think is a little lacking in Garmin Pilot that I'd really like to see get fixed. So right now we've got a pretty big storm heading over here toward Atlanta, and if you look, let me turn up the opacities here on weather so they're clear. So if you look, you'll see all the blue dots, and you'll see some yellow over here for on the left around Carrollton. And so the yellow is IFR conditions, the blue is VFR conditions, the green I think is marginal VFR, if I can remember. Yeah, marginal VFR for green, and yellow is IFR. I gotta get on. Yeah, so there's IFR. And so you look at it and you think, okay, well, that's helpful, but really it's not very helpful to me. So if I wanted to fly, we know it's VFR, for example, at KFFC or KCCO. It's VFR conditions over there. If I'm flying and let's say I'm coming down from up north or something, and I'm trying to see if I can get into this particular airport. Well, in Foreflight, one of the things I like to do, and I'll show it real quick, is I'll turn on what it calls ceilings. And in Garmin Pilot, they call it weather, and Foreflight, they call it ceilings. And you can see that it's just a number that prints over the top of the airport, and it's extremely useful because now it's green, so I know that it is VFR, and the number tells me what the ceiling is. If you look up at KCTJ, you'll see that it's red because it's IFR and it has 900 feet visibility. So I can very easily see what airports I'm going to be able to get into easily, which ones I'm going to have to shoot an approach into, and then what the ceiling is at that particular airport, so I know whether maybe I can scoot underneath this stuff and not have to deal with ATC at all. Maybe I need to go ahead and file and shoot an approach. So it's extremely useful. You'll notice over here on the right, these airports don't have any color coding, which could indicate that they're not reporting, but it actually is, in this case, an indication that it's complete VFR in that area. There's no clouds at all. So the sun's out in those areas. Over here toward Atlanta, we've actually got stuff going on. By comparison, if we flip over here to Garmin Pilot, you'll notice that we've got a lot of blues over here. If we click over here and go, it says VFR. If we actually click on the weather, then it comes up and it tells us the ceiling's unlimited. So Foreflight told us that visually just by looking at it. Garmin Pilot is making me have to click twice on every single airport to see what is really going on at that particular airport. So as an example, if I come up here to KCCO and we click on it, it tells me it's VFR, but if I click on it, then so it's 2 clicks to get in here to see what the actual ceiling is. And then if I look over here to the right where we were a moment ago, they look just like all the rest of the airports. So I've literally got to click on each one of them to come in to see that the ceilings are unlimited. So it's just a fair, and also in Garmin Pilot, which makes no sense whatsoever. Instead of just putting a color code on top of the airport like Foreflight does, they're actually putting the airport identifier in with the color code. Well, the airport identifier is right above it. So in every single case, they're giving us information that we totally don't need and leaving out information that would be helpful to get to. So I'm still using Garmin Pilot on a day-to-day basis to get used to it, to give it a completely fair evaluation. But I wanted to make sure I'm pointing out the things that I think are lacking as we go along, because this is something that's pretty big. I also, while I'm here, I'll also mention that the other day I talked about a little bit about the FBO information. So if we go into the airport information and we go into the full page and we go down here to FBOs, it has the city of Covington, it has all this stuff. They do not have address information in here. It's completely lacking. I don't know if they actually think it's even important for us to have. But if you were to fly to this FBO, go to your hotel, and now you're ready to come back to the airport to continue on your trip, good luck finding the airport with Garmin Pilot. You're going to have to go Google it and try to get the address, because Garmin Pilot isn't giving you any address. And on top of it, it gets even worse, because if you're at an airport with 10 FBOs, and I have flown to some of those, you need the address to your specific FBO. It could be on a different side of the airport than the primary FBO. So it's extremely useful to have that information in here, and I've got no idea why they're missing it. They claim that the company they get their information from doesn't provide it, but I'm not buying that. I think it was a oversight on that, and it needs to get fixed. So right now, those are the two big things that I wanted to point out today, and I'll continue to update on how this transition to Garmin Pilot is going over the next month.